Hello, and I am back here on the channel. It is the earth-breaking, ground-shaking, most electrifying YouTuber in YouTube entertainment today. The man, the myth, the legend, in my brand new coat. This is Lee Cole the Fourth. And welcome, everyone. So, this is an impromptu review of The Walking Dead. And I'm doing this while I'm driving because, why not? Anyways, I wanted to shoot this one out really quick because I have had major scheduling issues with some of these videos, and I am behind on some stuff that I've wanted to put out for a while now. I've got a new rant coming tonight, and then, I don't know, I'm going to do something on an anime eventually. I watched a couple of animes, and I am behind on that as well. So, here we go. After the epic season finale, or the pre-season finale, as I like to call it, in episode 15, The Storm, you know that 10 people died, 10 pretty big, well, not big, three major characters, and then one or two minor characters were in there, and a couple of other people. This episode is appropriately titled The Storm, and I've spoken with a lot of people. This is the first time in Walking Dead history, that's right, 9 years of the show being on, that we've ever had a sequence when they're in the snow. And this is exciting because there was an arc in the comics where the characters had gone through a snowstorm, but it had never been done on the show. So I was really excited, as I stated in my last review, about this episode coming out. I was hoping that the creative team really got their creative juices going, and they were going to bring us something exciting, and I'm here to report to you guys, I was not disappointed. This has been the first time in a long time that The Walking Dead has actually been watchable. I mean, for about 2 years, the show has been a slog to get through. But this season, even though the writing was kind of spotty at points, this season has been a solid season, and if you haven't watched it, I strongly suggest that you go back through and watch Season 9. The villain, the storylines, everything has been much tighter. So let me explain to you guys why that is. Greg Nicotero is the showrunner, and he had creative control, and he had made some poor decisions in the earlier episodes that had really stifled the season going forward. He did it at about the Negan season. And so they hired a new writer called Angela Cregan, and she is a phenomenal writer. This lady is going places. Her story writing and the way she's fixed a couple of key problems in The Walking Dead is phenomenal. Just phenomenal. She knows what this show is supposed to be about, and she's gone back to the basics of writing what this show is, which is people trying to survive in the zombie apocalypse. That's why we watch The Walking Dead. I mean, it's not for the whole who's going to get together next week and all of that garbage. And she's really weeded out the problems of this show slowly, meticulously, and sensibly. She has not killed off one character that hasn't made sense, and it's really refreshing. It's really great to see a strong writer back at the helm of this show because they needed it, and she needs to do more episodes. But she had a large hand in this episode. So The Storm gets back to the basics of what The Walking Dead is. And that is people trying to get through a terrible situation out of their hands through the dead. And there is some great scenery. So I'm going to handle this like I normally handle any review. I'm going to go through my overall view, my pros, cons, and then I'm going to let you know kind of wrapping things up, what I think of the season as a whole, and whether or not it's worth you investing in. And I'll tell you key episodes that really stand out. So this is going to be a bit of a review. So the overall view is, after the devastation that happened in the last episode, this episode to me was more of a wind down episode, and the storm hits. So at the end of episode 15, it had started to sprinkle snow. And then where we are now, we get a little dialogue from Ezekiel, and the kingdom is in shambles. One thing the people never planned on, much like real weather, was that this snowstorm was going to hit. They're in Georgia or somewhere around there, and normally the weather doesn't get really snowy. You know, like if you're in the South, you see a snowflake and people lose their minds. Well, it's that situation. So the territories are not prepared for the impending snowstorm. And I love how they do the realism of what it's like. You know, these are communities that are just starting to rebuild. They don't have all the technology we have. Pipes, the fireplaces go out. The attention to detail in this episode is amazing. But anyways, the kingdom needs to be abandoned because Ezekiel can't fix all of the problems and his people are going to die. So they're going to go to the nearest settlement, which is the hilltop. Now, at the end of episode 15, Alpha warned all of them, do not go through my territory or it will start a war. And the way that the storm heads, you need to, in order to make it to the hilltop as a shortcut, cut through Alpha's territory, because they've got men, women, elderly people, and the elderly people and the children can't make the long detour that they would have to take. So they directly have to go through Alpha's territory. And it's really great what they do with this episode, because there are no whisperers. And why I say that's great is because this builds a sense of tension and it brings the show back to the walkers. So we're not focusing on a group in this one. We're focusing on the people and the survival of the aspect of the show, which is what The Walking Dead is about. The Walking Dead is about survival. So it was really great to see the show get back to its roots, so to speak. So The Walking Dead basically dug up the trenches and went back to the OG Walking Dead. And you see these people fighting through a snowstorm, trying to get to the hilltop to be reunited with their friends. That's pretty much the overview of this. My pros. The acting across the board is stellar. Negan is back and has a lot of heartfelt moments with him and Judith, Rick's daughter. They have a really great touching scene where she gets lost and Negan risks his life to save her. And it shows another layer that this guy who basically started a war, Rick almost killed him. He killed a lot of people, killed Glenn. This guy does have a heart. And he's not the clear-cut villain that they made him out to be. Jeffrey Dean Morgan's character is really layered and quite hilarious in this thing. He even points out the drama between everyone and like who's dating who and stuff like that, and how it's ridiculous in the apocalypse, and I love it. Jeffrey Dean Morgan is a great actor, and he really shines in this role. The other highlights of this role was Michonne, who's one of my favorite characters. Yes, I like a strong, empowered woman. I know, kind of crazy. But anyways, Michonne has so much to do in this episode, and they really highlight how she's become a great leader in place of Rick. And I like how they've built her not wanting to be a leader. You know, they show the layers instead of her just being like, oh, I'm a woman, so I can lead the community the best. You see that through the losses she's suffered, she didn't even want to be a leader, and she was thrusted into this role, and now she finally understands what she needs to do for her people. She tried isolating them and all of this stuff. So there's a lot of character growth there. You also see the growth in every single character that they feature. the characters have such great moments. Small group. You see the fallout from Henry dying, and the girl who was the daughter of the Whisperers feels like she was responsible, and in some ways she is. And it's good to see the back and forth with her and Carol, because the old Carol would have killed her. And in this one, it shows the growth and maturity of Carol's character and how she realizes it's not this girl's fault. She had a terrible mother, and Carol doesn't have anyone anymore. She's literally lost every child on this show, which is kind of heartbreaking when you think about it. Also, great character development from Daryl, and how he has taken this girl underneath his wing. And like I said, another pro of this is they don't show the Whisperers. They don't show them at all until the very end. And I think that's great, because it really highlights the element dangers and the zombies, as opposed to people always fighting each other. People were always smaller. And I really feel like the show is getting back to that sense of, hey, there's still zombies, there's still weather conditions, the survival element of what The Walking Dead used to be. So that was really great to see. Also, the last really good thing that they did was the shot composition. The shots in this episode are gorgeous. What they do with the snow is amazing. They do not waste any moments in this episode with the flurries and people get lost in the blizzard. Zombies come out of the snow. Some of them are frozen, so when they try to kill them, they can't because their bodies are frozen over. It's a really great use of the element as a protagonist as well. So, an antagonist. So, cons. The cons of this episode was, it was kind of not a lot of action. There was a lot of zombie action, but not a lot of stuff in the wake of what happened the last episode. And I just think that the last episode felt like the episode where they killed everyone off, and they did something smart and they went the Game of Thrones route. So instead of making this one all about the action, this is the aftermath of that last episode. So it was a smart move. Instead of making every single episode action-packed, they actually have one with sort of declining climax. In good story writing, that's what you do. So, in close, what are my overall feelings of the season? The first half of the season, because it's 16 episodes, the first episode, 4 of them dealt with Rick leaving, and used to the Whisperers, and then you had Jesus' death. I felt like the writing was still trying to find its balance. So, in a sense, I don't think they knew where they were going with the season. The last 8 episodes, everybody should watch. There's like 5 good, really good episodes in there, and the rest give you context to who the Whisperers are. So, if you have dropped off from The Walking Dead, now is a good time to pick it up, because season 9 was what season 1 was. It was amazing. There were a lot of good character development. There was a lot of good things with the Whisperers. And overall, this lady, I'm glad they brought her onto the show, because she has course corrected a lot of the issues and did a lot of time jumps that made sense and fixed the problems that all of us had throughout the run of The Walking Dead. So, season 9 ends with them receiving a radio call from someone on the other end because they got CBs working. And apparently there is a new mysterious person on the other end of the radio. And it also ends with Alpha saying she has to get ready for what needs to be done. So if you guys don't know, in the graphic novels, this is the Whisperer War. So the Whisperers and all of the communities go to war, and Alpha showed that she has herded Sorry about that. She has heard. It's great to watch, and I'm really looking forward to what they do with this show. So definitely tune in. I will be tuning in for season 10 to see what direction they take the show in. So as always, thank you for stopping by for this review. This has been actually one of my shortest reviews, and I will be bringing to you the season premiere of The Walking Dead season 10 when it comes out, and kind of highlighting what I think of the direction that they're going in with the Whisperer War. And yeah, finally got to do a review on a show. So anyways, this is Lee, back on the channel. If you like this video, please hit that melee button. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe to me. Let everyone know about my channel and that I do stellar reviews and commentary. And as always, I will see you at the theater with Goose the Cat. Thanks, and bye.